Where is the team now? GB1, what is it? What does it consist of?
Yeah, so the team has obviously we've had our Oakley come on board, and now we are rebranded as GB1. So that's what we're known as going forward, and I think it's a really exciting time for the team. I mean, I'm particularly happy because the boat's red and I love a red boat. So that's great. And I think being here in Naples and sort of getting all the teams together really feels like a bit of a milestone. It's been a long road to get here, and it just feels like, right, here we go. You've obviously been working very hard back in the UK on the design as you ever do, but to actually get everyone together means something.
Does it feel good that the starting pistol feels like it's been fired? Do you know what I mean? This feels, if it wasn't day one, it definitely is day one now. Like, this is it.
Absolutely. I think getting all the teams together, I say that sort of starting pistol going off, and for me, the America's Cup is just unbelievable. The design and the technical side, whilst coupled with the match racing, and then this time around throwing in fleet racing, which is also something I love, and I think it's going to be unbelievable watching AT75's fleet racing. Slightly not concerning in some respects. It's going to be interesting, but
good TV.
Good TV, yeah,
Nice.
Exactly. I think we all wanted to see it last time round, and to do it this time round, it was going to be something special.
But we can't change the boats. So my understanding is correct, and it's a long document. I haven't quite had a chance to kind of wade into the details. But essentially, the hull or the fuselage, depending on your terminology, but those are the old ones. What can you develop?
Yeah, so all the boats are the same as what you used last time round, but we're obviously changing the cockpits.
Right.
So going from 8 cockpits to 6 cockpits and no cyclists. So there's some changes in the size of them.
Yeah.
And so I think we'll see people move them around or whatever. And then we've also got new foils and new sails. And that's kind of the big ticket items that you will actually visually see. But obviously under the hood, the systems, what makes the boat work, that can all be changed. But really the big things you'll see is the foils and the sails.
What decision do you need to make now? Do you know what I mean? Like there's some things that get baked in early and you go, well, we made the decision that it was going to be configured like that, and that's it. We can't change it now. Like, what is there that you're going, got to get this right?
I think it comes down to some sort of maybe some big ticket items that you wouldn't necessarily realise in terms of what metal are you going to make the foils out of, because you kind of need to be ordering it, relatively soon, because of the lead time on getting these large billets of metal.
Yeah.
And are you sort of what maybe height are you putting? Are you having a flat foil, a really V'd foil? These are the sort of decisions that people will be looking at over the next few months, as it goes on, and all of the sort of how are the foils constructed. There's many different ways of welding, and I don't know all the ways, to be honest, but there's lots of sort of things like that. Sales-wise, everyone has a bit more time on the sales. Sort of more about developing the tools that help design the sails.
Has there been some decisions where you've gone, let's just make a decision, I'm not sure, but we're going to go with that? And if so, can you tell me what it is?
Definitely can't say what it is.
Oh, okay. But there is one. There is one.
We have taken you take some directions of travel.
Yeah, okay.
Basically, yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's a good KG answer. Did you train in this? Did you like the science of it? Because I know you from your Olympic campaigning and everything else. Where did you get so happy to wade into the waters of endless spreadsheets and CFD and all the rest of it?
Well, I'm not sort of into the CFD running it or anything like that.
Just peering over the shoulder.
Yeah. But the technical side has always been a passion for mine. And obviously sailed the 49er, but then the Moth, and really was involved in a few different Moth designs, developing the sails, developing the foils, the masts, and then the Cup's always had that draw because of the technical side. And last time around I was very lucky to get more and more involved as the Cup went on and get involved in that technical side. So this time round to be sort of leading that charge a bit more is really sort of a nice sort of step up for me, but feels a bit more weight on my shoulders.
A little bit of a personal question then, because you talk about the last time that you were coming in, and it would be remiss of me not to ask this, but from the outside looking in, obviously we had Ben Ainslie, we had Giles Scott, two phenomenal sailors. Giles still, a big contributor to the team, but he wasn't helming. You kind of came in. Can you just take us back to that moment? At what point did you go, oh, it looks like I'm going to be the one, helming?
Wasn't until I sat down with Ben, and he said I was always there like as the reserve, and I said countless times, I'm here to win the America's Cup, whatever that looks like, and just trying to make the boat faster every single day and get us one step closer to winning the America's Cup. But it was a very special feeling, getting told that I was going to be helming alongside Ben. lifelong dream to be, helming a British America's Cup team, but not only that, but to be sailing alongside, the greatest sailors of all time was very special, and I learned a lot from Ben.
And how does it go in a team? Because I think it's the inner workings that we really seldom get to see. Even with all this openness, it's like there's so much secrecy. It's exciting, but it's also frustrating. But how do you get to the point where you go, okay, actually, Dylan, you're there? There's a science to it. Or is it a hunch? Or is it a case of, we just seem to be getting along? How do you make a decision like that?
Oh, you'll have to talk to Ben about the actual decision, but we obviously there's lots of data involved, and we can obviously see the various things that we're all good and bad at, but a lot of it comes down to that teamwork, that communication, which is so important. I had a slightly different background, so obviously a double-handed sailor for life, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah. And again, I need to ask, because I think it's one of those things that happens all the time in professional sport, especially the league that you play in. But what's it like when a substitution is made and everyone's there to win the cup, but obviously everybody, I kind of wanted to drive, or I kind of wanted to do this. What's it like in a team when there is a little bit of a shuffle and egos need to be put to the side? Is it an easy thing to do, or?
It's certainly not easy, but Giles did an unbelievable job of continuing to do everything he could to make the boat go as fast as possible, help us with all of our match racing. We're in the sim doing all of that all the time, and I think that just shows the deep passion that we all have for winning the old mug at the end of the day. Yeah. You put your ego aside and it's about the team, it's about winning.
And you talk about the sim. I'm used to seeing the America's Cup kind of mothballed. I think one of the things that's really exciting about the ACP, just from an outsider, is that relentless, constant startup. Again, it's a new cycle where I have to rebuild a team. So what has your team basically been doing since sort of Barcelona? Did it contract right the way down to its core embers, or has it been, we've still been going full guns blazing?
There's no doubt it shrunk from where we were operating in Barcelona, but we had a core team, effectively designers, and I've sort of never stopped being involved, and we've always been pushing on and looking at the next cycle. It's always difficult when you don't have the exact clarity on what that looks like, but you have an idea, and none of us stopped. None of us stopped thinking about it as well. It's always ticking away.
Okay, AC75, we're back. It's going to be the same hull, it's going to be the same fuselage. What's it going to look? How is it going to look different? If we're watching it from afar, how are we going to go, but that's the update, that's the update. What are the updates going to be in performance?
It's an interesting one, performance updates. I think that, as ever, this is sort of the version 3 now of the rule, effectively, and the boats will be getting faster and faster. A lot of it comes down to the conditions in terms of where do you choose your yacht to be fast? Because if we design a yacht to be fast in 25 knots every day or 20 knots every day and it blows 10 knots, it won't be very fast in 10 knots. So picking that point at which you want your boat to be fast will be interesting.
Or be average in everything and just finish second. I guess that's the trade-off.
But the boat's about half a ton lighter than last time round, which will make some changes in terms of we've obviously got a little bit less righting moment. They'll take off a little bit easier, should be slightly better again in the light winds. So you'd think that if the boats are half a ton lighter, maybe we'll have smaller foils, but how small? And so it'll be interesting.
And is it a case of, obviously there's you guys, there's New Zealand, you two made it to the America's Cup, the Kiwis won, but this is the best British result for nearly 100 years, absolutely incredible. And then you guys both come up with a rule that says we're going to keep the hulls. You've got to keep the hulls. Is that an advantage for you? You haven't got a slow boat.
No, I think all teams ultimately, given how compressed the timeline is for this cup, wouldn't really have been able to build a new boat. So we all had to stick with the same boat, really. And I wasn't involved in all the conversations around the exact ins and outs of why we ended up where we did, but we are quite confident that we have a fast boat at the end of the day.
Well, I look forward to seeing it on the water. Cheers, Dylan. Thanks very much.